Hello friends, welcome to Hip and Knee Clinic, and today we are going to discuss about inflammatory rheumatoid arthritis, which is very common in orthopedic practice. So the learning objective is to understand the prevalence and range of rheumatological disorder, clinical features of rheumatoid arthritis, and approach to diagnosis and therapy. So, prevalence of osteoarthritis and joint pain. So, do you have or have ever had arthritis or joint pain? So, you can find 0% who don't have any arthritis or joint pain in their lifetime. From age 15 to more than 65, slowly the joint pain get increase and prevalence is getting increase as the age increases. So this is the prevalence of musculoskeletal disorder. The most common presentation in OPD is back pain, then osteoarthritis and soft tissue disorder, and inflammatory disorder like rheumatoid arthritis 1%. So this is the type of arthritis. There are two types, one is inflammatory, one is degenerative. Inflammatory is due to some immunological or other disorder, and it affects mostly the synovium, and degenerative is due to the wear and tear of the cartilage which cover the bone. So this is degenerative and one is inflammatory. So degenerative is osteoarthritis. Now the autoimmune crystal arthropathy like gout, and this is infection. In autoimmune there is a rheumatoid arthritis, connective tissue disorder, and spondyloarthropathies. So this is the generalized osteoarthritis, and most common joint is knee joint is affected, and there is a pain on activity, stiffness, crepitus, and bony swelling. This is the nodule. This is called Haverden's nodule, which is seen in osteoarthritis. So now we are coming to rheumatoid arthritis. So the rheumatoid arthritis prevalence is 0.81 per population in UK. So most common gender is female, and peak onset is between 20 to 50 years of age. So the clinical features with which patient presents in OPD with symmetrical arthropathy means bilateral similar pain over the same joint, that is symmetrical, like both wrist pain, both elbow involved, both shoulder involved. Most common is small joint in rheumatoid arthritis which get involved, that is hand and feet, and patient has typical sign with early morning stiffness. Patient will tell that in morning when I wake up I have very stiff joint, and as the day passes pain and stiffness get decrease. These are the swan neck deformity, and this is the ulnar subluxation and deformity of the hand. This is deformity in the knee, genu valgum, that is a outward deviation of the knee joint, and Becker's cyst, there is a synovial cyst in the popliteal fossa. And these are the ocular complication, means eye complication, like keratoconjunctivitis, scleritis, and scleromalacia. Then neuromuscular complication are muscle wasting, carpal tunnel syndrome, that is the compression of median nerve at the wrist joint. And in advanced stage or in the late stage there will be atlantoaxial subluxation. So you have to be very careful while treating to avoid this whole complication. Systemic complications are also there, That is the cardiac is ischemic heart disease, which decreases the life expectancy by 10 years. And in bone there is a osteoporosis. Then this is the rheumatoid nodule, which is seen in 20 to 25%, and it is a prognostic factor, and it develop over the pressure areas like elbow, Achilles tendon and sacrum. And this is the pathology, like already we discussed. There is involvement of the synovium, that is a synovitis, and autoantibody against the IgG, which causes the main destruction of the joint. And rheumatoid factor is positive in 70% of the patient, and sometimes it is a false positive. These are the X-ray changes like bone erosion, which is seen here in the metacarpal head, and this is the soft tissue swelling, and there is the periarticular osteoporosis. You can see there is a area of less radiodens than here. So this is the periarticular osteoporosis. This is the criteria for diagnosis of rheumatoid arthritis. First one is morning stiffness, then involvement of more than 3 joints, symmetrical arthritis, rheumatoid nodule, and there is a positive rheumatoid factor and radiographic changes as we discussed. If 4 or more is criteria is present, it confirms our diagnosis of rheumatoid arthritis. Now coming to history and exam. The history will provide the information on progress and process. Examination defines the anatomical site, which site is involved, which joint is involved, and how much is the deformity. And history and examination determines the disability, means how patient is disabled in doing particular activity. So these are the differential diagnosis of musculoskeletal pain: back pain, polyarthritis, myalgia means muscle pain, and monoarthritis means single joint is involved. So this is the examination. First we have to look for the if there is any referred pain is there or not. If pain is there is local, then we have to see there it is articular or periarticular. If articular, then we have to see this is inflammatory or degenerative. So this is the musculoskeletal history. We have to ask for episode. Mono means single, oligo means less than 3, or poly means more than 3 joint involvement. Then we have to ask whether it is a symmetrical or asymmetrical, whether the only one side of joint is involved or other side also involved, that is a symmetrical. Then what are the precipitating factor when the pain and stiffness get increase. Then if any treatment is taken, then there is a responsiveness to therapy, and any systemic illness if present, you have to take in the history. Systemic review are the fever and weight loss. Specifically in rheumatoid arthritis, there is a dry mouth and pleuritic pain. Then recognition of severe disease. What are the red flag sign? This is the dangerous sign. If patient having fever, history of carcinoma, immunosuppression, ill health, night pain and progressive pain. How to approach the patient? So first we have to understand the tissue pathophysiology, then we have to see the environment and constitutional factor, and we have to decide disability. We have to treat patient as whole, not single or double joint or other things. We have to decide how to treat as patient as whole and how to improve his condition. So psychological yellow flags. So first we have to see the duration, intensity and history of episodes. If patient is in anxiety and depression, we have to give psychological support, and we have to counsel the patient that this is controllable disease and we can really get rid of it. Then disability. Disability means activity of daily living, the self-care and personal hygiene, communication, ambulation, movement, sleep, social and sexual activities. These all are affected, and we have to see which is the most common and what is the disability in particular patient, so we can treat and manage them accordingly. So now coming to the treatment part. So first is the analgesia. First we have to relieve the pain and inflammation. So this is the ladder of analgesia. First is paracetamol, which is very safe drug. Then NSAIDs, means non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug like tramadol, and then we can give strong opioids if pain is not get relieved. And this is the analgesic activity of commonly used drug. We can use this drug according to the pain. Then there is a toxicity of the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. So ibuprofen is relatively safe drug, and people and patient will develop serious GI event if NSAIDs is taken for longer time. So we have to see for the toxicity also. We have to consider the cardiovascular and renal toxicity. This is the drug combination, which is very useful and it has not very serious side effects. So these are the main drugs, that is called disease modifying agents, that is the DMARDs, disease modifying anti-rheumatic drugs. So we can give in all, we have to give in all patient according to their symptoms and deformity and disability. So most commonly used drug in acute symptom is, we can give methotrexate and sulfasalazine and biological drug. While giving these all drug, we have to monitor the fasting sugar, liver function test, because this will excreted through liver, so there is a chance that enzyme of liver get increased. Then if the patient have any allergic reaction or infection, that most commonly patient who is taking anti-TNF, that is a etanercept and infliximab, as a immunosuppressive drug, and the patient having a high risk of tuberculosis reinfection. So these are the drugs, these are the combination of drug we have to give according to the patient profile and particularity of and severity of the symptom. So the coming to the conclusion, musculoskeletal disease is a leading cause of pain and disability, and early effective therapy will reduce the symptom and treat the person as well as the disease, and we can halt the progression of disease with significantly more effective therapy if treated properly.